At approximately 8:45, Cary Police K-9 Officer Jeremy Bergen and his K-9 Max arrived, and I had been asked by Officer Bergen to attempt to locate an article of Nancy Cooper that they could utilize for a search effort.
Okay. And what did the defendant tell you that Nancy had worn that night?
Brad advised that Nancy had worn a blue summer dress that was knee-length and had thin straps, which crossed her shoulders.
At that point, what did you do after hearing that it was a blue summer dress with thin straps that crossed her shoulders?
I asked Brad Cooper if we could locate the dress, if he knew the whereabouts of it, and he did. But myself, Detective Daniels, and Brad Cooper began looking in the master bedroom that we were standing in for that particular dress.
What happened at that point? So you, Detective Daniels, and the defendant are looking for this blue dress. What happens at that point?
Yes, sir. So we're unable to locate the dress. Myself, Detective Daniels, or Brad Cooper, we're unable to locate the dress. And I asked Brad Cooper, are you sure about the color of the dress? And he advised that he was certain, or quite certain about it. And at that point in time, Brad Cooper exited the master bedroom and went downstairs, and I heard the front door shut.
Did you hear Mr. Cooper come back in the house?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And what happened at that point?
Brad Cooper came back into the house, and he had a male and a female with him. I later learned the identity of these people as being Craig and Diana Duncan.
And what, if anything, did you hear as they came back into the house?
They were discussing the color of the dress that Nancy had on at the dinner party the night before.
Okay. And at that point, did you hear a discussion about a different colored dress?
Yes, sir. Brad had asked Craig and Diana what Nancy was wearing at the dinner party, and Diana advised that Nancy had on a black summer dress and flip-flops.
When you heard this discussion of the black dress and the flip-flops, what happened at that point?
When Diana Duncan mentioned about the flip-flops, Detective Daniels pointed out a pair of flip-flops that were underneath a foyer table right as you come in the front door. And I believe Brad, Craig, and Diana all confirmed that the pair of flip-flops was the pair worn by Nancy on Friday night at the dinner party.
Detective, do you see those flip-flops that you heard Ms. Duncan and the defendant and Detective Daniels speak of?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where are those in that picture?
Yes, sir. They're right here underneath. One's directly in front of and one's partially underneath this foyer table.
At what time is this roughly?
This is around 9:10 p.m.
As the afternoon and evening goes on, were you asked at some point to help find an article of her clothing?
Yes.
Can you take us back and tell us about that?
Brad came over with one of the cops, or maybe it was with Craig, I can't remember who it was. It was with someone else, and asked me if I could help him find the black dress that Nancy had been wearing the night before.
And he asked you to come help him find the black dress Nancy was wearing?
Yeah.
And what happens then? Where do you go?
I went across the street with Brad.
When you get in the house, what do you guys do?
We started looking at articles of clothing. We went into the laundry room and started pulling out everything black. And none of them looked right. And then we went upstairs to her bedroom, and one of the police officers was there, and then he started being the one who was pulling out the articles of clothing.
During the time that you're looking, do you ever question whether or not it's a black dress you should be looking for?
I mean, I remember saying that right at the beginning, are we sure it was black? I don't remember if I said it again.
You testified that it was your belief that Brad had purposefully told you the dress was a black dress to mislead you.
Yes.
And at that time, the police were currently with Brad when he was talking to you.
I remember someone being with Brad. I don't remember if it was a policeman.
Were there,
or
I'm sorry?
It might have been Craig, my husband. But I don't remember.
Are you aware that that Mr. Cooper had already told the police that it was a blue dress?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Did you tell Detective Dismukes on July 12th at 8:13 p.m. that the dress was green with print on it?
Yes, I did.
And at what time, and it's then actually at 9 p.m., you tell Detective Young it's a black dress, correct?
Was it 9 p.m. that we went over and looked? It depends on what the conversation is. Okay. If the conversation was the one that when Detective Dismukes came in and talked to me, I thought at that point we had already gone and looked at the dress, looked for the black dress, and I had already gotten the phone call from Damia telling me that I was wrong. But that didn't mean that I then remembered what she was wearing. Does that make any sense?
So you have no personal recollection of what it was Nancy was wearing that night?
At this point, no. The only time I felt a very, very strong flash of recognition was when I walked through the door on the Tuesday and saw it hanging over the dining room chair.
Detective, earlier we had talked a little bit about when you were in the residence on July 12th, searching for the green dress with Mr. Cooper and Ms. Duncan.
Yes, sir.
And this afternoon, you testified that Mr. Cooper had asked Ms. Duncan, wasn't it a black dress that Ms. Cooper was wearing the night before? Do you recall saying that just an hour ago?
Yes, sir. That's my recollection, is he asked, wasn't it a black dress that Nancy was wearing?
Do you remember testifying about that yesterday and saying that he simply asked Diana what color dress that Nancy was wearing, and Diana responded it was a black dress?
I do not recall that statement.
At that point, did you hear a discussion about a different colored dress?
Yes, sir. Brad had asked Craig and Diana what Nancy was wearing at the dinner party, and Diana advised that Nancy had on a black summer dress and flip-flops.
You knew that other people had been asked about what color dress Nancy had worn the night before.
I learned that Diana and Craig were asked because they were asked by Brad in my presence as to what color the dress was from the night before.
And Diana at that time said black.
If I recall the conversation correctly, Brad stated to Diana and Craig when they were coming in the house and up the stairs, didn't Nancy have on a black dress last night at the party?
Do you recall characterizing this in a narrative that you wrote soon after? I believe the narrative entry date, the report date was 7/12, the narrative 133. Do you not simply say, Brad asked Craig and Diana what Nancy was wearing at the dinner party, and Diana advised that Nancy had on a black summer dress?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you recognize now a green object that's located on the left side of this?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And did you recognize that to be the dress you were looking for at that time?
No, sir.
And why not?
That is not a blue or black color.
Okay.
And if I may add, I didn't even disturb that item. It appeared to be a shirt as opposed to a dress, the manner that it was lying in the laundry basket.
You're aware that several people had described the dress as blue.
Objection, Your Honor? And then that evening is a frenetic search for that dress, a black dress according to the defendant, or a blue dress according to the defendant.